So it has been done. Gunrun has just immediately, 6 hours ago, barely just waking up in general. As you can see, I'm sounding a little bit tired and a little bit groggy or so because I was streaming yesterday, talking about the whole Vshojo thing. And I swear to God, 6 hours later, I was, a little bit busy, watching one of my, famous VTuber friend, Miss Natsuko or so, just a little, little indie VTuber, you guys should probably go follow. But anyways, speaking of which, I wake up, you know, grab me a cup of limon con pepino de agua de refresco, and then I kick back on my computer to go on Natsuko, ready to do some work and stuff, have Natsuko behind, in the background or so. And Lord and behold, fucking on my feed or so is the Vshojo Gunrun apology letter. So let's go take a look and see what it's all about. Vshojo has failed, and I have mismanaged the company into the situation you're all witnessing. As today, I am sharing the difficult news that Vshojo is shutting down. Oh, wow. Who would have saw that coming, to be honest? I feel like you're going to go bankruptcy at this point, because there's been rumors or so that you might be going to... Because, like, you owe pretty much all of the talents that they have not been paid for a year. And then on top of that, all the collaborators, literally... that have not been paid either. And on top of that, you took away from charity on, to add more to it, Sorry. I just barely woke up not that long ago, so I need my drink or so at least for today. I've been doing everything I can to fundraise and right the ship these past few months. What do you mean right the ship? Are you talking about on your yacht that you bought with the money itself? Maybe you probably took a page or so from freaking Niji Sanji, But despite my efforts, we are in the worst position, and those I care about are now paying the price. It's funny because you say that, right? But then I assume, like, you guys made the contract specifically of not having the girls talking to each other either, or else you would sue them. So I don't know what's going on here, to be honest. What do you mean paying the price? That you being a little bit sympathy, And they did say, after the age of 30, you gain sympathy. So I'm curious if he's like past the age, he just reached past the age of 30 just now, just to gain some sympathy for this, Over the past few years, we raised around 11 million to pursue a bold talent first approach in VTubing, prioritizing creators and community over short-term profits. Short-term profits, huh? Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. The achieved long sustainability, our fundings went directly to our creators through generous splits, debut investment, infrastructure, concert event, and staffing, all designed to support them. We also wanted talents to own their IPs, which we knew was a unique creator first approach for an agency. However, despite all our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue we needed to sustain that model. How about, like, manage a little bit more better on money wise, instead of like, because like I know that they made like so many models in general, so you just kept doing models after models after models, even though you guys didn't have any money in general to support the models, like to own these models. That's the crazy thing about it. However, despite all our efforts, the business failed and to generate revenue we sustained for the models, and eventually we ran out of money. Ran out of money. That's kind of funny or so, even though you guys pocketed from the 500K, and also stealing from your talents for 1 year. You could have been transparent to your to your talents, because at the end of the day, right, the talents make you as the company, not the other way around, Especially spending an exorbitant amount of money of all this stuff with the advertisement, everything plastered all in Japan. and all this other shenanigans, that you've done, the concerts, the 3D concerts for Miss Iron Mouse, all the different models that the girls have in general. So it's like, I feel like you guys didn't manage the money very well, to be honest. I feel like they definitely, if it's literally a mismanagement of money, they straight up did not even bother of trying to like overall like manage the money in general, to like be like, okay, so this is how much funds we have after the cut or so from the girls, after we paid them or so, and then blah 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 blah. Additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money spent by the company was raised in connections with talent activities, which I later learned was intended for a charitable initiative at the time. So wait, are you telling me you did not know that the money that was being raised was actually for charitable intent? So you just barely just knew about this, but like so like the question is like, where have you been then if you just barely knew about this, you know? That's a little bit of mismanagement in my personal opinion. At the time, we were working hard to raise additional investment capitals to cover our costs, and I firmly believe, based on the information available to us, that we would be able to do so and cover all expenses. We were unsuccessful in our fundraising efforts. I made the decision to pursue funding, and I own its consequences. I am deeply sorry to all the talents, staff, friends, and community members who believed in our brand. You did not deserve this. I don't know, man. That's kind of crazy. Even if the money wasn't for, even if the money wasn't for charity, it wasn't for you either. You still would have been taking money that Iron Mouse earned. It's just even worse, and it was for charity. And that's right, Hex Juice. That's definitely correct, 100%. I'll be honest with you. Some of the comments or so specifically in this specific post itself, like you got unnamed as well, saying it. Money management investment decisions are far complex, but you took advantage and fears of the dreamers they all carry. You sacrificed the efforts of people not because it was necessary, because it was easier for you. Oh my god, dude. Honestly, rest in piss. Smoking that gun run pack. Keep your cheeks safe and a person homeboy. I guess so. I've been trying to figure out what to say. Oh, we got with Miss Andrea actually said the thing itself. Why did you keep dodging my messages and concerns when I wanted to do a one-on-one? You kept dodging. You gave me a short corporate answer even when I was under immense pressure from the community for answers about the auditions, and pleaded for a statement by your PR team. You told me it wasn't needed. You made a tiny video instead, looking like you were hurt and upset, saying sorry instead of meeting me a one-on-one for my concerns. And I was crying and frustrated, but like a fucking dog. I went back and happy to even get something from you, because oh man, boss actually answered me. You wanted one finally when you knew everything was crashing around you. The debuting new talents even after the community kept asking about it and kept waving it off and letting me to take the punches. And I smiled. That's pretty upsetting, to be honest. Like, I knew that there was specifically like talents in general that has not been like because the whole debut, right? The auditions that happened a while back, a year ago, apparently. So that was kind of pretty crazy that I'm like, it's funny because everyone kept saying like, oh, Amelie was the one, Amelie was the one. Oh, it's so freaking what's the word that these kids use again? I forgot what the word that these kids use these days. I don't know. They were just saying like, or like whatever. I don't care. I smiled and fucking brushed it off and kept pushing the company because I hope that the new talents and bringing new people to help instead I find you were hiring people without input and poaching without even the idea of truly helping them other than financial gain. That's pretty crazy in my personal opinion, honestly. Just take it. Just to take it. You and some people were really ready for me to be thrown under the and over. And even Amelie joined. I begged you to put out a statement regarding to the auditions before she announced her debut stream. Yeah, because everyone thought that it was like pretty much, what is it? What, I forgot what the Nepotism, there you go. Because I thought it was a nepo thing or so, and I'm like, no, I feel like this is like for me personally, like I've never like gone after these like VTubers for that specific sort of range. I feel like there was something behind the scenes because at the end of the day, it's a business. At the end of the day, so there's something happened. And also, if this contract was being worked on for a couple years with Miss Amelie, that means it's a different thing, separate from the audition itself. Zentrea pushed for new auditions to come around. You know, at the end of the day, these specific VTubers do it from the bottom of their heart. These people like the whole Vshojo group are just a bunch of girls who are, well, plus one guy anyways, um wanted to actually create something fun, enjoy streaming and everything like that. So me personally, I've never have that specific problem where I just like, oh, it's nepotism, it's nepo, it's a bunch of nepo babies. Da, 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 da. You got to be famous in order to get in. I'd be like, maybe like I wouldn't say famous, but I'd say you probably would have a more decent size. But I assume Ms. Zentrea was pushing to have more smaller and um unrecognizable names and like no association with the Vshojo brand or members, I assume that's what it is, just to kind of change the image and be like, no, Vshojo is not nepotism, it's not a nepo company, we don't just hire just famous people only, or like famous indie VTubers. You gave me the middle finger. Me and Amelie had to put out a statement because your PR team was unfit for their job. That's kind of crazy, in my personal opinion. Jesus Christ. I took it all. Why did we have to say anything at all? Why did I have to keep taking the fucking damage over and over? And you were hurting me well before this. You have. I've been pushing a company so blindly who didn't even care for me. But I'm an idiot, and I kept believing I was so excited for this. I spent sleepless nights dealing with constant harassments, and you spend money which you didn't even have without even warning us, and God knows what. That's true as well. If they literally did not had any money whatsoever, what was the point of literally like trying to host all of these like VTuber models, all of this like events and like all the advertisement? If you were like not getting any money in return, like in general, like you were not getting any revenue or so, maybe like, talk to your VTubers, because the VTubers are the ones that hold you up, and be like, hey, like have a group meeting with all your VTubers and be like, okay, so this is our funds, this is what can we do, like what can we do or so in general, like, talk to your like talents. It's not like they're just like a bunch of printing machine money that you can just take advantage of at the end of the day. They're just literally straight up girls who enjoy, plus one guy, streaming. They enjoy streaming, they want to build a community, they love their community, they built up from the bottom up, that's the whole entire thing itself. And I don't even lie, you knew that money was for charity and was supposed to be placed to the side to be untouched. Where did the $11 million go less than 3 years even? That's I can take a good guess where those $11 million disappear off to be honest. What happened to all that money? I'm just really tired from all these years of trying to push something that kept pushing me to the wolves. I was so stupid, but I was so excited. I really trusted you. That's the worst thing about it. When you put your trust or so, especially in a company or so, that you expected them to actually be like different, because they were different. Hate it or not, they were definitely different. They get to kept their IPs, and all this other stuff with all the benefits and everything. They were a lot more better compared to Nichi Sanji. Hololive is also being a little bit shaky or so for the most recent graduations and everything, especially from one of their biggest talents that graduated. A couple anyways from their old generations anyways. It's kind of crazy that like it's the funny thing on top of that is that Kason has her trust broken not once but twice in general. So this is kind of a little bit crazy. We all did. Despite everything, I don't wish you any ill will. I just hope you find some way to make this right. Well, the question is like, even if they will, to be honest, I don't know about this, to be honest. That's crazy to see that. would be able to do so and cover all our expenses. Brother, you've somehow been bleeding 11 million while maintaining the most successful and biggest VTuber roster in the Western EN history, and figured that'll just go away on its own. Old to new bullshit is so confidently. What a weird way to say. So basically, I've been sitting ducks. I've been sitting ducks. We've been sitting ducks while watching the ship sink, and instead of sitting down with the talent and explaining the situation and finding ways to fix the business model, we want to be hiring more and bigger talents to rake in more profits to cover our incompetence. Oh, also, I had no idea that what the 500K was supposed to be for, and never questioned it or checked the books. Oopsie, lol. Yeah, that's the craziest thing about it in this comment. It's like, wait a second, hold on. You didn't knew that this was supposed to be for charity? That's kind of like the question thing about it. We trusted you. We've trusted it, and you know how hard that was for some of us to do. Our communities, people who only ever do their best to support us and care for us, do not deserve this. This does not get 5 big booms from me, OG. You broke my heart, my spirit, and my trust. That's the worst thing about it. They definitely broke a lot of people's trust in general. Giga also commented as well specifically. Vshojo didn't just fail. Many staffs and leaderships failed Vshojo. Instead of using talent, money on operating costs, the company should have shut down, or at least informed us, but you just used us as cash cows to keep things afloat while keeping us in the dark. That's the strange thing about it. Like, honestly, like, this in general here is like 100% correct of what Giga says. Didn't bother communicating with the talents. No communication, was left in the dark. Still kept siphoning money away from them. Also, even taken from the charity in general. Despite all the things that has happened or so, this might be the worst company or so in VTubing history, to be honest. The lies, the manipulation, the money siphoning, stealing from charity as well. What else can you get, Like, also, like, keeping the girls silent from each other, and if they talk to each other, you will sue them, threatening with legal actions, It's kind of a little bit crazy, to be honest. You chose to keep the expensive sinking ship going on, and felt that it was fine and keeping pay and fine to keep paying out the staffs you were friends with instead of putting talents first. You made it abundantly clear that you are okay with not prioritizing the debts on the talents who made this company what it is. While saying you will take full responsibility in the correct things to do, I also think there are many others in the company without the same positive intent as conveyed in this message. And every leadership or staff call I had, you sat back and didn't say much while you had other staff members that were clearly the ones doing the actual work and the ones to speak. Oh, that's interesting. We know which leadership worked on our contracts. We know which leadership consistently sat in VC playing games with staff instead of working on time-sensitive tasks for our events and debuts. We know which staff consistently leaked informations about talents. As the CEO, you are the final check, yes, but this means that all checks before you fail too. Interesting. I had a wonderful time while I was in there, so because of that, it hurts my heart a lot. My community and my friends don't deserve this. I don't expect you to do anything at this point. Just please don't do this ever again to anyone. And of course, Miss Shondo fucking putting a beautiful goddamn point and laughing. Bro accidentally put 500K he was supposed to donate to charity and the millions of the talent into the Lamborghini fund. Silly mistake. Who hasn't done that? Oh my god. We got K-san as well saying some things. Why didn't you let us know the moment you realized the situation? Why did I get the information 2 weeks ago, not from a company, but from my home girls? Why did you lie to the JP branch a week ago that everything was good and taken care of? That's the thing, it's like I don't understand with these specific companies themselves that, like, you don't want to, like, talk to your girls, talk to your talents, talk to them in general. They're there, they're there to like hold the company up, you know? Like at the end of the day, you're the ones who like help provide support of sponsorships, advertisements, you know, manage some of the stuff behind the scenes or so they can have more time to like stream, you know, be able to have a wonderful community and flourish and be, you know, super popular and famous and hold these events and all this other stuff, charity stuff, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you know. But like it's kind of crazy that like they didn't say anything like that. So it's kind of funny in general. That's just like they just completely lied. I'd be curious how long this has been going on or so. When did this like when did the downfall trend started going? Like when did the start of mismanaging money has became, you know? We trust you. I feel so hurt and betrayed. A lot of people. Vshojo Spirit Halloween. Jesus Christ, honestly. Chitan loves all the VTubers, but yeah, overall, I knew mismanagement with the Niji minds. I stand corrected, Vshojo. I wasn't familiar with your game. Holy shit, I don't know what to say. That's crazy, and it's also donating half the money raised to charity. Yep, yep. That is kind of crazy, in my personal opinion. Honestly, it is kind of absurd for me to see that of this whole entire thing in general. So I wasn't really expecting it. They've responded, and I'm gonna be like, you know, it's kind of crazy. I'll be honest with you. Honestly, hey, you know what? It is what it is. It's finally over. You know, Vshojo has died, has completely crumbled. It's over. The company is dead. It's, you know, all the girls are free, which is very fantastic. At the end of the day, I feel very happy for the girls are gone now. And you know, I wanted to do this kind of style of video. You know, well, granted, I woke up, you know, just like an hour ago, so like hour and a half or something like that. And then like, you know, I got like, you know, I got like messages and like timeline and everything. It's like Sunako, they posted, they did it, post it. I'm like, what? It's like they posted fucking gun run fucking posted. And I'm like, oh, what? So I just got out of bed, you know, like washed my face a little bit, just splashed some water on my face, and then like grabbed a cup of like pepino con limon, agua de refresco, and then like hopped onto the computer, and it's just kind of like, and I was like, damn, they actually did it. It was like 6 hours ago. It's crazy though, honestly. Like I wasn't really expecting it. Well, at the end of the day, it is a mighty titan at the end of the day. But hey, you know what? I'll leave a comment, right? I'll leave a comment under this too as well. Yeah, I think that should be a pretty good one in my personal opinion. I try to, you know, give a good like honest, you know, personal opinion on that in general. So, but anyways, yeah, honestly, that's it. That is the end of Vshojo, and that is the end of that. I don't think this company will be ever coming back in general. I don't think they'll try to make a workaround or do an internal stuff. The branding itself has been completely tarnished, broken, and burned and spit on, and everything down in dust and everything. So, yeah, it is definitely over. Good riddance to bad companies. Honestly, how hard is it to fucking take care of your talents? Honestly, makes no sense in general. I just don't get it. I just don't understand why it's so hard to take care of your, you know, to take care of the talents in general. So honestly, it is what it is. Hey, you know what? What do you expect at the end of the day? It's just number one, mismanagement of money and greed took over at the end of the day. Instead of just talking to their talents and explaining the situation itself, and be like, hey, we're kind of a bit going downwards on money, so we're gonna kind of need you guys' help or so, come up with some ideas or anything like that in general. But yeah, anyways, that's it. I just kind of wanted to talk about this specifically, do a little bit of a commentary type of thing, because usually I don't do commentary style videos, but this will be the first time on it. I had to like literally make this video because it was crazy. Honestly, it's just generally just kind of crazy of what we just witnessed in general. So, but yeah, anyways, that's the end of the video. And I'll catch you guys in the next video, hopefully with my VTuber open, because this happened on my days off, of course, you know. It's my day off on the recording of this video when it happened on a Thursday. Apparently this happened on a Thursday. So actually it happened during like nighttime or so for me when I was sleeping. So it happened when I was sleeping. So technically the next day for me. So, but anyways, that's the end of the video. And yeah, rest in pepperonis, Vshojo, and peace.